Okay, I wanted to share a video with you. I'm going to leave a link for it in the tech in this video's text box so that you can listen to him. He's a pastor, I believe in Kentucky, and he made a video about some a few dreams that the Lord had given him, warning him of March with the COVID and then June with the riots back in December and January. And now, recently, the Lord gave him a new dream where he's pointing out September 2020 and November to him. And um, September is something to look out for, just like with the COVID and the riots happening. The Lord pointed out to him that he, and here's the video. The Lord pointed out to him that um, something was going to be occurring in September. And then in November, it wasn't just a tap on the calendar, but the Lord punched it, and the calendar broke apart, and it was just total chaos. And so you should go listen to his testimony here, because it's too long to read. There's like 4 pages where he's at, but he goes over it in the video, and it's easier to listen to it. But every time he was seeing what was going to be happening in the month on the calendar, like when the Lord pointed out March and then June, the Lord told him to brace yourself 3 times. And then this time with the dream right here, it says he heard the voice say part two, part two, and he saw June, um, and then so he saw June, July, August, and then September, and the finger underneath the word September, like emphasizing it and tapping it 3 times, like September is something to watch for. And then he saw October, November, and the minute the finger underlined November 3 times, instead of tapping it, I saw a fist ball up and hit the calendar, and it the calendar exploded. Okay, and so he also saw banks with the roofs being taken off, and money was flying out the roof, so maybe economic collapse. And he saw uh, Washington D.C. burning, rioting, um, and there were like gargoyle creatures, so like demons, demonic forces. So it was absolute chaos. And the fist punch on the November 2020 is what got his attention. Brace yourself, brace yourself, brace yourself. So again, to hear, how the Lord had shown him the March and June thing, he feels compelled and led to share this new dream about September and November, to warn us, because he hadn't shared the first one with everyone. So I encourage you to watch that. And if you remember, I shared this video back on the 2nd. There was 2 words from Byron Searle and Cryptic One, which were, one was called Brace for Impact, and the other one was called Brace for Impact. So so the Lord giving them, the Lord's telling him, brace yourself. They were saying brace for impact. And then there's this word that was posted recently. Well, I don't know if it was posted recently, but it says it's from 9/29/19 from Victoria Ang. Brace yourselves for impact, my children. So I'm just going to read through this. And also in this dream, or with these 2 words, or with a video recently that I shared, I can't remember, but I did mention that the Lord had told me a couple weeks ago. So I think it was with this video, or it was one of my recent videos. The Lord had given me he had told me 76, like in 76 days. And when I did the math, it came out to September 7th, which would be Labor Day. And so I don't know what's specifically going to happen around then, but I believe You know, it was a warning that something was going to start occurring in the early part of September. And that sort of goes along with what he said about pointing out September and then the Lord pointing out November to him. So this word from Victoria says, brace yourselves for impact, my children. Prepare yourself for what is to come. All the warnings are about to be set in motion. Time is of the essence. Things of this world will soon come crumbling down like dominoes. All those with ears to hear, take heed of the warnings. Come quickly under the shadow of my wings to keep you safe and protected. Destruction and devastation will spread across the land like none you have ever seen before. It is at the door. The hour is late. Time is no more. Hold steadfast to me, my precious ones. I will be your strength to carry you through the darkness that is fast approaching. Yeshua HaMashiach. So this was actually from 9 months ago. Okay. And then we have this. So let me see if I can see anything down to where he's talking about the new dream. It just said part two. I saw June, July, August, and then I saw September. And I saw the finger underneath the word September, and it was like emphasizing it, and tapped it 3 times. Then I saw October come up, and I saw November, and this is when it got real to me in the dream. I think the intensity for me when I woke up, my heart rate was about 180 on he says on his Fitbit or whatever. So so that was Monday night, and I woke up not feeling very well at all. I was up during the night. By the minute the finger underlined November 3 times, instead of tapping it, I saw a fist ball up and hit the calendar, and literally the calendar exploded into the wall. The numbers seemed that they were 3D and they were falling everywhere. There was a cloud of chaos that started in there. The next thing I saw was armed protesters. I saw fighting in the streets, people pummeling one another, businesses shattered and shut out. He saw schools close. I saw schoolrooms with cobwebs hanging in them and things like papers falling off the wall and posters, like no one had been in there for months. I saw banks buildings with the roofs being taken off. It looked almost like an alien abduction because money was flying through the roof into some type of like vacuum cleaner. So the money just disappearing. It kind of sounds strange, but I was watching wealth just being taken. I saw politicians in back rooms making deals with people, patting people on the back and laughing and smiling and smirking. Monuments, he saw DC burning, blazing, saw fires everywhere, people rounded up. And then he says he saw Chinese and Russian soldiers on the ground. The Russian soldiers would tell the Chinese soldiers to go pick up these people, secure this quadrant, secure this area. Blue helmets of the United Nations. I saw military things taking place. I also saw no sign of President Trump. I saw no sign of leadership in Washington, D.C. And then he saw the creatures like gargoyles. They were 10 to 15 feet off the ground. They were just attacking people mercilessly, and people hiding in their homes and garages, and churches being burned. I saw homes being burned. It was absolute chaos. The first punch on the November of 2020 is what got my attention. Then I heard the words again, brace yourself, brace yourself, brace yourself. This has been something that I've heard for almost 7 months now, starting from December when he got the first dream about March and June. And once we get to July, it's going to be 7 months. I'm not claiming to be a prophet. Let's just see what happens in November, through November, and see if I'm right about this. But I know when I hear God's voice, I know what God's voice sounds like to me. And I know when he speaks. I know when I had the dream that I know it is him. The things that I'm saying, I don't do this to scare, but I say this to warn people that there are some pretty sinister things coming down the pike, and not just for the lost, but for people, God's people as well. And so the second dream he had woke him up. We just had a yard sale to help fund a team going to Ecuador next year. And he asked the secretary to get some change for that yard sale. So in the dream, he had to walk to the bank and get some change. On the door, it says no change available. And I saw the sign and it registered in my mind. I walked on, and the president of the local bank was at the teller station. She was taking care of business. And I said, I need $10 in quarters for yard sale. And she said, I'm sorry, but the US Mint is no longer making currency or making change like pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, half dollars. We aren't doing that anymore. Well, what do you mean? She said, they stopped doing it. Well, how am I supposed to charge $1.50 for anything? She said, prepare for hyperinflation and just charge $2. Then she said to me in the dream, oh, by the way, $1 and $5 bills will soon follow that after that. Then I heard those words, brace yourself, brace yourself, brace yourself. So he wrote these things down, and I've never gone on a video and recorded the dream that I've had and hesitated to do the one back in December, but everything he saw came true between March and June. So everything that he was shown about the illness and rioting came to pass. I don't think I would be doing anyone a service if I don't show what I saw in these dreams and visions. I believe that we're not just going to see a second huge wave of COVID between September, October, November. We're going to see major things with elections, chaos in the country, troops in our cities, protests worse, buildings burn, and it's only going to lead to civil war in this country. And so for my friends that are believers, I'm just going to show you what I think you need to hear. First of all, you need to be preparing food. God's been telling me, and I've been telling you guys since 2013, the same thing. Make sure you got alternative forms of currency like silver or gold or whatever, even food that you can barter, okay? Things you can barter. I believe you need to have an ample supply of guns and ammunition. That's not just the Second Amendment fan of me coming out. That is the things that we're seeing. Because if they talk about defunding the police, that means that you're going to be on your own in a lot of areas or wherever you're going to travel to. I also believe you need to be praying like you've never prayed before. Amen. Make sure your family knows where you're going and you have some sort of communication. I'm not saying get off the grid, and I've never said anything like this in my church. I have said I believe that this could happen, but I've never done what I'm doing right now. I'm telling you that between September and November of this coming year, and by the time we get to November and nothing's happened, man, you can call me out on this and say you're an absolute idiot and a fool for saying those things. Go right ahead. I realize I'm responsible for what I have spoken. I also know what I sense and know the Holy Spirit's voice enough to know that what I've heard. I believe it's going to happen, what I heard in December between March and June, not because I'm a prophet, because dreams have prophetic edge to them sometimes. I've been doing a whole series on dreams and visions. I'm going to finish that series up tonight and talk to my own church about my dreams, why dreams and visions are literally extension of the spiritual gifts of Corinthians chapter 12. Okay, so he's not sharing this to scare anyone, but it's to warn and so that we can prepare for the times that are coming. He's just telling us the dreams he's had, and we can interpret them the way we want to, but he believes that some very bad things are going to happen between September and November, especially for those that are prepared. And wait till December 1st to say if I'm wrong. Okay? And so I'm going to share a link to this page so you can read it, or you can go ahead and click on the video and you can watch the video yourself. All right? So, again, the Lord did warn me about September, Labor Day in particular. I don't know what's special about Labor Day, but maybe that's when after Labor Day, they won't let kids back at school. I don't know. But because COVID, they're already starting to like retighten constraints on work and socializing. Again, they're starting to retighten their reins on that now in the last couple days since Thursday, Friday. So just be ready and be prayed up and continue to prepare yourselves. Always be ready, no matter even if it's for a natural disaster, to have food, water, shelter, and the things you need to take care of yourself and your animals. God bless.